Welcome once again to keep on learning online class. We are going to learn geography as normal, as usual. Today we are still on the topic weather and climate, where we discussed about different episodes. Where last time we were discussing about episode 2C, and that episode, it was related to this topic of weather and climate. Today we are going also to talk about this topic of weather and climate, where we shall be looking at different questions relating to weather and climate. And I would like to invite everyone who is watching this video to subscribe, like, and give comments so that we can improve our teaching and learning practice. Let's start by the question number 1. Question number 1 is asking, explain how atmospheric pressure of an area is influenced by variation in temperature. We are going to see how the area of high temperature influences atmospheric pressure of an area. How the area of low temperature influences atmospheric pressure of an area. Let's start by point number 1. When the temperature of air rises, its pressure decreases. Meaning that if a place has high temperature, we shall have low pressure. Why? This is because when the air is heated, it expands. After expansion of that air, it will lead to the low temperature, as that air expanded is being spreaded over a large area. Let's look at the point number 2. The area of low temperature will be associated with high pressure, meaning that if we have area of low temperature, the air will be cooled and contracted. So when air is cooled and contracted, it can occupy a small, or it can cover a small area. Thus, this can lead to high pressure. So those are 2 ways how the atmospheric pressure of an area can be influenced by variation in temperature. I think that everybody can be able to attempt this question if it is asked in any exam or any test. Let's go to question number 2. Number 2 is also divided into sub-question, where we shall be looking at question 2, sub-question A, which has also other sub-questions, I and double I and even triple I. We shall also be looking at sub-question B, 2B, where it is also divided into three sub-questions. So let's start by this question number 2, and we are going to be focusing on this sub-question A. Explain the meaning of the following terms. We are going to see the meaning of the following terms. We are going to see the definitions of the following terms. Let's start by mean annual temperature. When you talk of mean annual temperature, is the sum of mean monthly temperature divided by 12. Meaning that if we are calculating the mean annual temperature, we shall look at our table showing the month and the amount of temperature occurred in all those months. After looking, we take the temperature occurred in all those months, we add them and we divide by 12. That's why they say it's the sum of mean monthly temperature divided by 12. Let's see mean monthly temperature. What do you understand by the term mean monthly temperature? When we talk of mean monthly temperature, is the sum of the mean daily temperature divided by the number of days in a month. Remember, when we are calculating or when we are finding the mean monthly temperature, we take the sum of degrees Celsius or the sum of temperature occurred in the all month of the year, and we divide them by 30. Therefore, what we shall get will be mean monthly temperature. Let's look at mean annual temperature range. When we talk of mean annual temperature range, is the difference between the highest mean monthly temperature and the lowest mean monthly temperature. Meaning that if they give you a table showing the temperature of different month of the year, you will see which month that receive or experienced with the highest temperature and what else experienced with the lowest temperature. You find the difference between the two months, that of the highest temperature minus that of the lowest temperature. Let's go to sub-question B. Sub-question B, observe the table below carefully and answer the questions that follow. We are going to observe this table carefully so that we can answer the question asked. We have month of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So we have also their respective temperature. We have temperature in January it was 20, February 18, up to December, which had 23 degrees Celsius. We are going to see the questions asked. Number 1, calculate the mean annual temperature. So this question is going to help us to understand the definition we discussed previously. Remember, question 2, sub-question B, we're talking about different terms relating to this question. For example, this sub-question B, they are asking, calculate the mean annual temperature. When we are calculating mean annual temperature, we shall find the sum. It is the sum of all temperature occurred in all months of the year. We divide by the number of the month that make up a year, which is 12, and what we get, it will be what we call mean annual temperature. So that's why we take all the total of the temperature occurred in the year, we get 276, and we divide the number of the number of the month in the year, and you get 23 degrees Celsius. And remember, the measurement unit of temperature is degrees Celsius. Don't forget to mention or to write degrees Celsius. Let's go to mean monthly temperature. When we talk of mean monthly temperature, as we discussed previously, we have said that mean monthly temperature is the sum of the mean daily temperature divided by the number of days in a month. Meaning that we shall take the amount of temperature occurred in every month, and we find the sum of all months of the year, and we divide by 30. It means the average number of days per month is 30 days. That's why we talk 276, we divide by 30, and we get 9.2 degrees Celsius. I think that question is clear and easy to understand. Let's see mean annual temperature range. When we are finding mean annual temperature range, we take the month of the highest temperature minus the month of the lowest temperature. That's why when you observe this table carefully, you will find that the month of the highest temperature, it has 28 degrees Celsius. 28 degrees Celsius. While the month of the smallest temperature, it has 18 degrees Celsius. Meaning that we shall take this 28 degrees Celsius minus 18 degrees Celsius, and you shall get 10 degrees Celsius, meaning that mean annual temperature range will be equal to 10 degrees Celsius. Let's go to the next question. The next question is asking, question number 3, sub-question A is asking, what is meant by the term condensation? When you talk of condensation, is the turning of water vapor into a thin water droplet as cooling continues below a dew point. That is the meaning of the term condensation. Sub-question 3B. Explain the main factors that may cause the occurrence of condensation in the Earth's atmosphere. Here, this question is asking what causes the existence of condensation in the Earth's atmosphere. So those are causes of condensation of the Earth's atmosphere. Condensation which took place in the Earth's atmosphere. Number 1, influence of barrier. When you are talking about barrier, understand mountains. So as a result of occurrence of a mountain, this when most air ascend the mountain, it can cool, and when it cools, it will condense. Hence, occurrence or existence of condensation. Availability of a large amount of humidity. Just like you know, when you talk of humidity, is amount of water vapor in the air. So, and the condensation cannot take place when there is water vapor. Otherwise, presence of water vapor is a great factor which can lead to the occurrence of condensation in the Earth's atmosphere. Next, presence of front. Fronts, where a front, it's where it's like a zone or a place where two air masses can meet. For example, when one air masses meet with cold air masses, the place where they meet it's a front, meaning that the cooling of warm air, it's brought toward a cold air mass. So just like you know, when warm air masses meet with cold air masses, warm air masses will climb over, will blow over that cold air masses, and it will move upwards and cool and condense to form a cloud. Therefore, the occurrence of condensation. Next, let's look at advection as another cause of condensation. As the advection cooling as a result of most air moving over a cold land or a cold sea. When you talk of advection, this is where warm air may pass over the cold surface, and when it passes over the cold surface, this will cause the occurrence of fogs, and that fog can also influence the formation or to the occurrence of condensation. Adiabatic cooling or expansion of air. This is a cooling of most air as it rises vertically. Let's see also another cause, presence of condensation impurities like dust upon which condensation takes place. Finally, low temperature above the snow line, meaning that for a condensation to take place, there must be a low temperature. Temperature must be reduced so that the cooling can take place. And after cooling, below dew point, this will lead to the formation of condensation, or the condensation will take place. Thank you very much for this episode 2D. Where we are still discussing or talking about the units of weather and climate, where we shall be looking at very many questions relating to weather and climate. Dear, don't forget to subscribe, to like, and give comments so that we can always improve our teaching and learning practice. I think those causes of condensation are understandable, and you can even take your pen, a notable, and you record down something. I think they are very clear and easy to understand. Have a nice time.